Today's request for Plan My Lesson is from a teacher searching for a first week project that helps students get to know each other and introduces a few key skills along the way. Perhaps you can relate? Here's what she writes. It's time to switch up the first project I do in English 10. For the last few years, I've had the kiddos research their first name, practicing basic research skills as well as getting to know them and them doing some self-exploration. I want a similar caliber project, but on a different topic. So, our goal for this lesson today is to introduce key elements for a project that will give students a chance to share something important to them as you build community, learn and practice basic research skills, and get them adjusted to a key platform, at least key in my opinion, for the school year, Canva. As usual, it's a struggle for me to pack all this into just one lesson, so feel free to spread the things we're going to be talking about over several lessons, depending on how much time you have in your period. Welcome to the Spark Creativity Teacher Podcast, a podcast for English teachers looking for more creativity, more engagement, more joy, and no more scripted curriculum, lesson planning ruts, or boring book lists. I'm Betsy Potash, and I'm honored you're trusting me to help. You're not alone on this creative journey anymore. If you're a regular listener to this show and this summer series, you know I want you to have your class agenda up on the board. And if you have time, kick off the class with a quick community building attendance question. After those first couple minutes of settling in, it's time to introduce your project. I'm going to suggest you kick off the year here by having students create an infographic on a topic they really care about, something they'd like to teach the rest of the class about. Maybe it's an issue like global warming, a hobby like skateboarding, or a personal interest like fashion design. Whatever it is, their job will be to create an infographic about it using 3 sources that you can then display in your classroom. Along the way, you can review key issues around citation and plagiarism, get students registered on Canva, and start learning what they care about most. A great way to get students thinking about how to create a strong infographic is to look at some exemplars. And I'm going to put a link in the full show notes at nowsparkcreativity.com to a great roundup from Canva, actually, of 40 infographics across sectors, across topics, all different sorts of design. You can pull these up on your class board and talk about them a little bit. Maybe pick 1 or 2 that you really like and just walk them through. What do you see? What is the style like? How is the information shared? How does the creator consider their audience and how to reach their audience? Then you can give students some time to look through and choose a favorite, maybe with a partner. They can talk about what they like about the infographic. Make a little list of what this mentor text is doing that they find effective. Then you can bring all the groups back together and wrap up this little introduction to infographics by creating a list on the board together of what they think makes an infographic appealing. So looking at their own lists, looking at their favorites, what makes an infographic stand out? What makes it persuasive? What makes people stop and look and actually take in the information? Let your kiddos know that starting tomorrow, they're going to be creating an infographic about something they care about, something that they would like to teach to the rest of the class and to you, and so they can start thinking about topics. Okay, now you're going to kind of step back from that infographic project, which will continue the next day, and you're going to do some warm-up on citation format. Okay, so this depends a little bit on you, on your students, on your class. This is obviously going to look a little different if you're teaching 7th graders or if you're teaching AP seniors. You decide how deep to go with your warm-up on sort of research citation format. But what I would probably do is use a little slideshow and game that I created for the Lighthouse a few years ago. And the slideshow just runs through, hey, what does citation look like for books, poetry, plays? I'd also probably have up in my classroom some LA posters, again, that I created a few years ago for the Lighthouse, that you can then have on the wall that students can refer to anytime for this project, but also throughout the year. So if they're trying to reference an online article article and they can't remember, does it start with the title? Does it start with the author? They can just quickly peek at the poster without really needing to have memorized all those complex iterations. You can do this review however you want, whether it's a quick slideshow, an infographic that you pass out, posters on your wall. If I had time, I would also probably have my students play the game I made to match with the slides, where they kind of get into different situations and have to think about how to cite something or paraphrase something, or consider whether something that somebody might do would be plagiarism or not be plagiarism. But again, this little mini lesson, just however you want to do it, you are just warming students up on how to cite their sources so that you don't get a bunch of infographics that just have 3 links across the back, because that's not going to be what you want in all your research projects this year. Okay, now you're probably in the last 10, 15 minutes of class. So last but not least in this lesson, I'd love to see you get your students onboarded to Canva, assuming that your school is on board with that, and I really don't know why they wouldn't be. Canva is free for schools. If you Google Canva for Education, you'll find the page right away. I'll put the link in the full show notes as well, of course. I find Canva to be startlingly amazing. It is just a fantastic platform. It has a lot in common with Word and slides in terms of basic design, but then it just has all these fantastic pieces of media and design elements, so that students can just really easily create something nice, whether they're creating a PowerPoint for your class, an infographic, a podcast cover, a poster, a mural, a t-shirt design. There's just so many things. And of course, if you're a yearbook advisor or a journalism advisor, Canva actually started as a platform for yearbook teachers in Australia, and it has just exploded across the world to the point where people in just, I don't even know, maybe every industry, probably not every industry, just it really gets used a lot by professionals. And so for that reason, I think it's a great thing for students to be warming up to in school. So again, use this time, if you can, to get them registered on Canva, and then as a little warm-up to Canva, and also so you can be troubleshooting for kids who are struggling to get oriented, give them a little challenge. I created a little series of these challenges to go with my free mini course, Canva Confidence, which you can take. If you're a little bit new to Canva, it'll just walk you through how to use Canva in the classroom with more confidence. There's a little series of challenges for students to go with it, with just little funny things like design a shoe with a message, or design a cookie that teaches something, or create a quick book recommendation poster for your favorite book. Just like a little challenge that students can spend 6 or 7 minutes on, and they can start to practice, okay, I want to put a shape here. I want to search for a photo. I want to take the background off a photo. I want to put my text in front of my shape. Just like these little things where if they can start to figure them out through your fun challenge, then they'll just know more when it comes to building their infographic. Now, if you want to do some more little fun challenges at the beginning of class all week long before moving into infographic design, that could be fun. That could be a great bell ringer for the next few days, just to have a little fun challenge on projected on your board when students come in, so that they're just practicing the basic skills of Canva. All right. So for an exit activity, as students walk out, just invite them to tell you the topic they think they're going to focus on for their infographic when you begin work the next day. This will give you a little reading on who has no idea what they're going to do, who's really confident, how many kids are in the middle and they're torn between a bunch of ideas. And then you'll know kind of who you might need to help a little bit the next day, or whether you need to build in a bit of brainstorming time because kids aren't really sure what to do. Okay, so that's the lesson. Now let's quickly talk about teaching takeaways. One of my favorite ideas from today's lesson is the concept of gamification. I have really enjoyed designing games in the last couple of years for the Lighthouse around rhetorical analysis, plagiarism, writing strong thesis statements, and more. It's quite fun to take a complex concept that just repeatedly comes up for students and design something that can cut down on the necessity for a long lecture about it, that can really help hold students' interest to this complicated topic that you really want them to master. Games can take so many different shapes. They can be spins on a game show or a reality show. They can be spins on a board game or a card game or a computer game. And once you create one, you can use it over and over. If it's something you project, boom, you've got that in your pocket forever. If it's something you print and actually use with dice and little game pieces, you can laminate it and use it over and over again. So I really think it's worth thinking about how to build some gamification in this kind of isolated way. You don't necessarily have to gamify your entire course. You can gamify one lesson, and that can be very rewarding. Another takeaway I want to hit on from today's lesson is getting oriented to Canva for Education, the free platform for teachers and students. I highly, highly, highly recommend this platform to you. I love it. I think it's a game changer. If you can get the hang of the basics, again, I created a little free course for you, Canva Confidence, and I will put the link to get registered for that free mini course in the show notes if you want to do it. But you can also just explore on your own or look at the Canva YouTube channel. The point is, I really think it's going to be a go-to for you and your students every single time you need to design anything with a visual element. It is so much easier than slides, and it just has so much more to offer. Instead of Google searching everything students want, they can just go right into elements or photos and snag whatever is useful to them, and it's just really lovely. Finally, let's give a nod to student choice right now. So for this infographic project, students are going to practice their research, writing, and design skills on a topic that they choose as a way to help introduce themselves to their peers. And this is just a reminder that wherever and whenever you can build in student choice, it can really help with buy-in. This can take a lot of shapes in the ELA classroom, whether it's what your students read, what they research, whether they work alone or in a group, whether they read sitting in their desk or sitting on the rug, whether they use your one-pager template or a blank page, whether they create online, digitally, or on paper. There are just so many chances for you to give them a choice. And that can really, again, help with buy-in, help them feel like they're getting to be themselves in your class. So try to keep choice just in the back of your mind as a priority when you're planning. Thanks so much for joining me today to talk about this lesson plan for helping students introduce themselves while also getting oriented to Canva and getting ready to be great citation experts throughout the year. Until next time, take care of yourself and stay creative. You know, there's help for when you need print and go creativity for your classroom. There's help when you feel like all you have time to do is dash off comprehension questions, and that's just not the way you want to teach. Did you know I have a curriculum membership for creative ELA teachers? It's like the assistant you've always wished for, the curriculum you need, ready to adapt to your specific classroom. This is my 5th year running the Lighthouse, and I've learned so much from the 2,000 plus teachers who have joined me there, and it just keeps getting better. If you're a secondary ELA teacher looking for more creativity in class without your work bag following you around like a shadow, and you want a creative community that gets what you go through every day, the Lighthouse is waiting for you. This is the program where you get immediate access to curriculum across more than 30 themes, like podcasting, one-pagers, argument, choice reading, book clubs, poetry, and short stories. This is the program where you get a sub-plan library you can lean on anytime you need a day, for any reason. This is the program where you'll find a creative community waiting to cheer your wins and share fresh ideas day after day. This is the program where you'll find on-demand video workshops from leaders across our field, like Penny Kittle and John Spencer. This is the program where I share everything I create. This is the program where we go all in. Are you ready to explore how the Lighthouse can transform your teaching? Make sure you're signed up for my weekly creative teaching emails so you'll get your invitation the next time the doors open.